October 9th, 2024, 8:21 a.m., Sedona, Arizona. I, Kenton David Bell, channeling Telos' intergalactic stream of consciousness that is in direct communication with the throne energies. Yeah. We are Telos, and we appreciate our channel making room for us. We say that because everybody is feeling overwhelmed. There is almost an implosion of energy into the human auric field at this time due to the great changes happening on your planet now. It's a time of transcending competing energies to rise above and create new vision, to create new worlds above the old. It's not really about trying to fix or remold what has been in the old paradigm. It's not about trying to create new ones in the matrix that was created through the old paradigm. It is time now to create the new matrix of the 5D world that planet Earth is destined to become. And the keys to this formula are in each and every one of you. It's actually already programmed into your DNA. Why? Well, because you are made in the image of the Creator you see, so much of your DNA is very much aligned to the evolutionary history of the Creator itself. While some might be experiencing panic and terrifying visions of the future, others might be celebrating all abandon and tossing all caution to the wind. And we are not telling you one or the other is correct. These are dualistic energies competing for space within a particular paradigm. You see, if you want to play that game, well, you have that option. Free will reigns supreme here. However, there is another option. There's a third option. Instead of a binary option, there's a third option that transcends the old, and it transcends in a way that recent recorded history, that meaning all of truly recorded history, going back even to the Sumerian times, that we've always been in this binary time-space envelope for as long as we can remember. However, there is a new option now unfolding for humanity, and this is a very serious jump to the next level. So, as you begin to prepare yourself for that jump, if it feels right to you, if you are tired of the old conflicting energies with no resolve in sight, it is time then for you to finish up your old business, which must happen before you can transcend into the higher frequency and dimensions of the new Earth experience. Now, the human brain isn't made to comprehend these things well, at least so far. It hasn't been programmed or neuronetted correctly in order to automatically transcend, you see, because you're creatures of habit and you are programmed to at whatever you think you're programmed. Even when you're awake, you're programmed. So there's a program going on in you The question is, which program are you choosing? Many now are finishing up their cycle on what is referred to as the wheel of karma. So that whole idea, paradigm, karma, that lower soul realm, learning experience is coming to an end for those who wish it to. Now this isn't just a wish. Oh, I choose it. That's it. Okay, I'm off. It goes, of course, much deeper than that to the soul level. This is the soul coming off. It's not your thoughts, your personality. It's not your psychological mindset or your Judeo-Christian principles that are telling you any truth. Here, just to be very clear, so any of these old mindsets that the ego loves to juice at times and will tell you, oh, look at you. You're so awakened. Look at you. You're figuring it all out. If you're getting a lot of that mumbo jumbo, trust us, that is not the way forward. That's the ego still identifying as the driver. You see the lower ego, well, we need ego, but you want to transcended ego, the transfiguration of the ego into a higher perspective and higher dynamic arranged so you can follow the breadcrumbs to the promised land, so to speak. Everybody has this ability within them. Everybody has the opportunity, but only a slightly less than 10% of the population at this time are even aware, even getting an inkling or awareness tingling around the edges of their own self-contained understanding of the universe and your evolutionary cycles. You see, your DNA, as you begin to awaken, begins to give you an opportunity to interface with it through consciousness like never before. So up to this point, the ceiling that humanity has been hitting has not allowed for humanity to see and converse, to be in communion with their own DNA in a way that they are aware of. DNA is, in a sense, the bio-emotional, mental hardware that allows the program to come through and the code into your DNA to program not so different than a computer application would be. So, for instance, let's say you're a surgeon, you go to school for so long, through that process, what's really happening? Is your DNA is being programmed to a certain lesser or greater extent into the idea of being a surgeon, into the way that that being and consciousness will then evolve into this bio, spiritual, emotional, mental, intentional being that is able to interface with others and perform such duties. It could be a surgeon, a lawyer in its way, does that. A healer, such as our dear channel, also has his own dynamic blueprint that allows him to do the work he does, you see, which is the healing work, long distance or in person. More and more as we evolve, that will begin to be seen. However, there are many forces, of course, in the old paradigm that would rather not see that change, because their whole existence is literally built on the old paradigm principles, which is not about truly helping or awakening the individual you see. But this is a time where graduation for some begins. Or you could also think of it as a source creator throwing out a handful of seeds. Like when you broadcast seed for either a field of corn or a lawn, whatever it might be. Some of the seeds take better than others. Some of them evolve and even create their own offspring and germinate into a new cycle of life. In many ways, that's a good way to see what's happening here with humanity. There is a harvest occurring, and in that harvest, a new paradigm is being created through the evolutionary cycle of consciousness through the human experience here on planet Earth. So the fertile landscape here, which is very fertile at the moment, is kicking up a new level of its species. You could call it Cosmic Human 2.0. This is a new cycle at this time, okay? And in it is great possibility like you've never had before. This is where humanity begins to see that they are indeed creator. You've moved from the third dimension into the fourth. There's a lot of fourth dimensional energy and projection reflection happening within the mass consciousness at this time. And as the mass consciousness is getting ready to evolve out of the fourth into the fifth, which is again an individuated state of being, in the fourth it's collective, and then in the fifth it's individuated again and learning how to be in the fifth, transcending the fourth in a way that's still included. We don't shut it out, the fourth dimensional aspect of self. That's part of the evolution of mastery within the human species itself. You could use a number of different formats to lay as a transparency over to create the map that shows the evolution of humanity. And while that is helpful at some times, but really is contingent on, is where the observer is standing at any given time, looking through their own lens, through the transparent roadmap superimposed over what's happening. You have many layers here of perspective, truth, fallacy, and so on. It takes true mastery to feel one's way through these different layers and transcending into higher realms. Our channel, Kenton David Bell, through support from our guidance, Telos, as well as other aspects of his own intelligence and guidance, has begun to create a series of stepping stones in what you would call courses that allow the human being to begin to shake off the old, extraneous, that's no longer serving, and begin to step into, or we should say, reveal within the individual their next level according to the keys of evolution within their own DNA that are very aligned to creator energy. For instance, you take the normal human being, just anybody, let's say a 40-year-old blue-collar worker from the Midwest, USA, and in their paradigm, in their world. Let's say they haven't done much self-help exploration. They haven't done much introspection, but they do sense something happening. They sense something and they feel threatened. Perhaps their world feels threatened, the world that they know. The reason it feels threatened is because they don't have the tools or the wisdom or the knowledge, because nobody's given it to them on how to traverse and transcend their current situation. This causes great frustration, anger, not knowing what to do, lashing out because they don't know what to do, or in even the worst case scenarios, becoming very passive and shutting down, almost a death within. There is much of this going on, especially in the male population of the westernized countries. This is where our priorities must begin to change. The common male, father, husband, provider is very identified with that aspect, which is providing. Now, that is changing quite a bit, but we have not created necessarily in a clear, concise way what that new version is. What we are seeing from here and our experience of working with different humanoid colonies within the multiverse is the next tier that needs to occur. The next evolutionary step within mankind, humankind, and especially the male of the species is connecting to their inner power. Call it their God, their source, the universe, however they want to frame it. But that authentic, higher aspect that comes from the non-physical is the only way to step out of the current condition. Now that's just the first step. That's not the whole step. That's the step where you connect to the wisdom and knowledge and non-physical aspects that allow you to create powerfully through your thoughts, your intentions, your desires, the frequencies you send out to the universe and allow to come back. So, if you cringe at the woo-woo, well, you're cringing at your path forward. It's only woo-woo right now because you don't understand it really, because it's not in mainstream thinking, because it's not talked about during football parties or bachelor parties. You get the drift of what we are saying here. It's time for men to really open up their powerful hearts to the universe, to God, source energy, to the Creator, as well as to each other. It's time not to live in silos. It's time to break down those barriers. It's time to get over any homophobic sort of caution or fears, for these are just signs of weakness. These are not signs of strength. Strength is the ability to stand in a vulnerable, transparent place and know you're okay. And knowing that that strength and modeling it for other people, especially males, modeling for other males. We are Telos. We are a multi-dimensional, multi-galactic stream of consciousness, monitoring and assisting, but not interfering with the evolution of 7 humanoid colonies through the local multiverse. We are Telos, and we thank you for taking time from your busy schedule to listen. We hope we have helped clarify something for you, give you food for thought, and we will be with you again soon. We thank our channel Kenton for taking the time out of his daily life as well. For now, we leave you with blessings of love and optimism, and so it is.